Hi guys, we're plot number 1 and our group will be covering the topic of stratospheric ozone. So in our atmosphere, there are 5 main layers: the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. This to us is the troposphere. The troposphere and stratosphere lies a boundary known as the tropical phase. As we can see in this perfect amount of light and heat for life on Earth. Moving on, the protective ozone layer and the stratosphere, there is the mesosphere and troposphere. In the mesosphere, there are cold temperatures, and in the thermosphere, there are mainly high altitudes and higher temperatures. So when meteors are on the verge of hitting the Earth, they still burn up despite the cold temperature in the mesosphere because there are enough gases that allow for this burning. The thermosphere is extremely hot, such as shifting gears a bit on light radiation, there are 3 types of ultraviolet radiation: UVA, B, and C. UVA is the least damaging and reaches the Earth's surface. UV damaging, but it's mainly absorbed by the protective ozone layer. And UVC, the last type of UV radiation, is the most damaging. But worry not, because all of this radiation is absorbed by the ozone layer. So our ozone layer and stratosphere play very important roles, for without them, all of us would probably be victims to the sun's harmful UV rays. These UV rays vary in strength is because of their wavelength and frequency. Wavelength is the distance between each of the little peaks of waves, and frequency is the number of waves that pass through a fixed point in 1 second. Together, frequency times wavelength is the speed of light, or as Albert Einstein has once profoundly put it, E equals mc squared. UVA has the largest wavelength, while UVC is wavelength. So moving on to the next slide, we see that the ozone-oxygen cycle describes the process by which ozone is created out of atomic oxygen and oxygen gas. UV radiation, an oxygen molecule, O2, is split into 2 atomic oxygens. Atomic oxygen combines with diatomic oxygen to make ozone, O3. Then, the single atomic oxygen disconnects from O3 and performs oxidation, forming an oxygen molecule O2 once again. However, with an increase in pollution and greenhouse emissions, scientists discovered that there was a hole in the ozone layer over Antarctica in a 1985 British Antarctic survey. This larger and larger. In terms with our current consumption, this hole will get bigger and bigger, and there will be a positive feedback loop that only perpetuates the trend for more climate change and global warming. So more UV light penetration will result in to increased melting of polar ice caps, which will result in an increase of warming in the ocean and an increase in temperatures in the ocean and coastal cities, which will then in turn result in more increased height of melting of polar ice caps. And so this positive feedback loop into more global. And some pollutants known as CFCs and HCFCs, or chlorofluorocarbons, or hydrochlorofluorocarbons, to the stratosphere. And sunlight breaks these CFCs and HCFCs down to create atomic chloride, otherwise known as CO2. So to explain this in simpler forms Cl will combine with O3 to form ClO and O2. Then this becomes 2. So the ozone, O3, is broken down to form oxygen. And what happens when the ozone layer is depleted and UV rays are able to shine through? Well, two dangers of the depleting ozone layer are skin cancer and cataracts. The most common type of cancer, and it's usually found in, it usually forms in skin that's been exposed to sunlight, but it can really just be found anywhere in the body, whereas cataracts are the major cause of blindness in the world. About this issue, policymakers into a protocol passed on September 16, 1987. The protocol is an international treaty, an international effort designed to protect the ozone layer by phasing out the production of numerous substances that are responsible for ozone depletion. Celebrate this day that it was signed, the Day of Preservation of the Ozone Layer. And so with that, we hope you enjoyed our video.